In the fertile and agriculturally thriving village of Ajagba, rain was both a blessing and a mystery. The fields that surrounded the village thrived only when the heavens opened their gates. Yet, for many seasons, the clouds hung low and dry. The villagers turned to Okpadokun, the rainmaker, whose power to summon rain was both revered and feared. Okpadokun's ceremonies were spectacular. He would chant incantations, wave his carved staff in intricate patterns, and call upon the spirit of water. The rain would obey, cascading down in torrents that quenched the heart. But Okpadokun's power came with a price. He demanded offerings of grain, livestock, and even gold from the villagers. Without payment, he refused to summon the rain. The villagers, helpless and desperate, paid his price year after year, watching his wealth grow while they toiled in poverty. His power, however, was not just feared for its cause but also for its rumored wrath. It was said that those who disobeyed him or spoke ill of him faced dire consequences. One short story was of Ajanaku, a young hunter who dared to challenge Okpadokun's demands. Ajanaku's family had no livestock to offer, and when he refused to pay, his fields were struck by a freak storm that left them barren. The villagers whispered that Okpadokun had summoned the storm in anger. Beware, Iyalode often warned the children. The rainmaker's power is not to be trifled with. It can bless the land or curse it at will. As time passed, more tales of Okpadokun's fearsome power emerged. Once, the villagers, displeased with his growing arrogance and demands, decided against fulfilling his request after what he had done to Ajanaku. What followed was extreme famine and drought. For months, the sky remained cloudless and the earth cracked under the relentless sun. Okpadokun, however, did not budge or feel remorse. He arrogantly claimed that neighboring villages who still referred him would supply his needs and that he could survive without Ajagba. At the height of the famine, some lives were lost and the villagers became restless. Desperation led them back to Okpadokun, pleading for his help. Only then did he relent, but not without extracting even greater tributes. Another tale that solidified his fearsome reputation was when Chief Olowo Okere planned a grand wedding ceremony for his only son. It was meant to be the talk of the town, with guests coming from far and wide. However, Olowo Okere had neglected to appease Okpadokun. On the day of the wedding, as the festivities began, a sudden downpour, accompanied by thunder and lightning, turned the venue into an eyesore. The elaborate decorations were ruined, and guests fled in fear. The villagers saw this as a direct warning from Okpadokun, further amplifying their fear of him. One fateful season, the village's main river began to dry up. Fishermen could no longer catch fish, and the crops withered under the relentless sun. The villagers pleaded with Okpadokun to call upon the rain, but their offerings had been measured that year. Furious at their inability to meet his demands, Okpadokun declared that the spirits of the river were angry with them. "You dare come to me empty-handed," he thundered during a village gathering. "The spirits demand tribute, and until they are satisfied, the waters will not flow. This is not my doing, but the will of the spirits themselves." The villagers, terrified and desperate, scrapped together what they could, but the offerings were insufficient. Okpadokun raised his staff and chanted, claiming to summon the spirits for judgment. That night, the rivers dried, birds glowed eerily under the moonlight, and strange haunting sounds emanated from all over Ajagba. Rumors spread that Okpadokun had caused the river, and the people's fear of him grew. It was only after a particularly generous offering of their remaining livestock that rain finally returned, restoring the river but leaving the village destitute. Another time, during the annual harvest festival, a time meant for celebration and gratitude, Okpadokun's wrath became the center of attention. The festival was meant to honor the spirits for their blessings, but Chief Oluawo, the chief priest, publicly declared that he would not bow to Okpadokun's exorbitant demands. "The spirits bless us without need for one man's greed," Chief Oluawo proclaimed. "Let us celebrate freely and not give in to fear." The festival began with music, dance, and feasting, But as the sun set, dark clouds gathered ominously. Okpadokun stood on the hill, overlooking the celebration, his silhouette stark against the lightning streaked sky. With a flick of his staff, a torrential downpour began, accompanied by deafening thunder and blinding lightning. Tents collapsed, food was ruined, and the villagers fled in terror. Chief Oluawo confronted Okpadogun the next day. "You would ruin the sacred defense for your pride," he demanded. "The spirits act through me," Okpadokun replied coldly. "Perhaps next time you will honor their emissary." The villagers, though angered, were too afraid to challenge Okpadokun further, and his control over them deepened. Among Okpadokun's family was a son, Okpaleke, a kind-hearted young man who was nothing like his father. Okpaleke often wandered through the village, helping those in need and listening to their grievances. He was in love with the Princess Adeola, the spirited and compassionate daughter of King Adegoroye. Their love was a secret, whispered in hidden gardens and stolen moments beneath the moonlight baobab tree. But the king was no fool. He had noticed the stolen glances and the way Adeola would disappear for hours. One evening, he called her to his chambers. "Adeola," King Adegoroye said sternly, his voice echoing off the walls, "what is this I hear about you and the Rainmaker's son? Do you not realize the disgrace this could bring to our family?" "Father," Adeola began, her voice trembling but resolute, "Okpaleke is kind and good. He is nothing like his father." The king's eyes narrowed. "His blood is the same. The Rainmaker has exploited our people for years. Do you think I will allow my only daughter to be tied to his house? You will end this foolishness immediately." Adeola's heart sank, but she did not reply. She left her father's chambers with tears streaming down her face. That night, she met Okpaleke under the baobab tree. "The king knows about us," she whispered. "He forbids me to see you." Okpaleke took her hands in his. "Adeola, I will not give up on us. Love is stronger than any decree. We will find a way." Meanwhile, Okpadokun's dominance faced its greatest challenge. A thief had crept into his hut one night, bypassing the wards he had placed and stealing his precious staff. The theft was meticulous, as if the thief had studied Okpadokun's every move. The next morning, when Okpadokun awoke, he found the staff gone and his connection to the rain spirit severed. His cries of rage echoed through the village. "Who dares to defy me?" Okpadokun bellowed. "I will find the culprits and bring down storms of vengeance upon them." But his threats were hollow without his staff. For days, he searched desperately, interrogating villagers and even calling upon the dwindling powers to locate it. His health began to fail, the strain of his efforts taking its toll. Fevered and weak, he could no longer perform even the simplest rituals. Word of his incapacitation spread, and some villagers whispered that the spirits themselves had turned against him. Others believed that the thief was a hero sent to free them from Okpadokun's tyranny. Adeola, sensing the growing unease and the potential consequences for the village, decided to act. Unknown to most, Adeola possessed special powers inherited from her mother's lineage. Her gifts allowed her to sense energies and track objects imbued with spiritual essence. She confided in Okpaleke about her abilities, and together they led the search for the staff. The villagers, inspired by their courage, joined the effort. On the seventh day, Adeola's powers led them to a hollow tree at the edge of the forest. Inside, they found the staff, wrapped in leaves as if the thief had intended to return for it later. To their shock, the thief was none other than Ajanaku. He had lost all hope after Okpadokun's relentless torment and had planned to escape the village with the staff, banking on the common knowledge that the staff's power would unravel if kept away from Okpadokun for more than 7 days. "I had nothing left to lose," Ajanaku admitted, his voice trembling. "But now, I see the pain my actions have caused. Take it back. Save the village." They returned to the village just as Okpadokun's strength waned completely. The once mighty Rainmaker lay frail and broken. When Okpaleke handed the staff, Okpadokun's eyes filled with tears. "Father," Opaleke said softly. The villagers have shown mercy. They helped us find the staff. Now it is your turn to show mercy to them. After the staff was returned to Opadokun, the rainmaker, he held it weakly in his trembling hands. His once imposing figure was now frail, his voice barely a whisper as he looked at his son, Opaleke, and the gathered villagers. The weight of years of tyranny and isolation bore down on him. My son, Opadokun began, his voice cracking, I am no longer the man I once was. This staff, this power has been both a blessing and a curse. I used it for selfish gain and brought pain to those I should have protected. Today, I entrust this to you. Use it wisely, with kindness and humility. Be the rainmaker they deserve. He handed the staff to Opaleke, who hesitated before taking it. Opadokun turned to the villagers, his eyes filled with tears. I beg for your forgiveness, Opadokun said, his voice heavy with remorse. I see now the harm I caused. Thank you for finding the staff and giving me a chance to make things right, even only for a moment. Iyalode stepped forward, her face stern but her tone soft. Opadokun, the harm you did will not be forgotten, but neither will this moment of repentance. May your son bring healing where there was hurt. Opadokun nodded, his strength waning. He turned to Opaleke one last time. My son, promise me you will do better than I did. I promise, father, Opaleke replied, his voice resolute. With that, Opadokun breathed his last, his frail body finally succumbing to the years of strain. The villagers stood in solemn silence, some shedding tears, others looking on with a mix of relief and sorrow. Opaleke, now holding the staff, felt his power course through him, warm and inviting, unlike the cold and domineering aura it had when wielded by his father. Adeola, standing beside him, placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. You have the heart to bring change, Opaleke, she said. The village needs you now more than ever. The villagers gathered around, their faces hopeful but cautious. Opaleke raised the staff and with newfound confidence began to chant. The sky, once overcast with the gloom of despair, cleared to reveal a vibrant blue. Gentle rain began to fall, refreshing the parched earth without the ferocity of the storms of old. The fields soaked in the life-giving water, and the collective cheer rose from the crowd. We are saved, someone shouted. Opaleke has brought the rain, another exclaimed. In the days that followed, Opaleke worked tirelessly to mend the broken bonds between his family and the villagers. He used his power sparingly, ensuring the rain came when needed, not as a tool of fear but as a gift to the community. The village flourished once more, with bountiful harvest and a renewed sense of unity. King Adegorile, witnessing Opaleke's transformation and the love the villagers had for him, called a meeting with him and Adeola. Opaleke, the king said, his tone measured but kind, you have shown great strength and wisdom. You have won the hearts of the people and proven yourself worthy. If my daughter's heart is set on you, I will not stand in your way. Adeola beamed with joy and Opaleke bowed deeply. Thank you, your majesty. I will honor your trust and cherish Adeola always. Their wedding was a grand celebration, with villagers and dignitaries from neighboring lands gathering to rejoice. The ceremony was held under the shade of the great baobab tree, adorned with colorful fabrics and flowers. Gentle rain fell as if the heavens themselves blessed the union. After the festivities continued, Iyalode raised a toast. To Opaleke and Adeola, may their love and wisdom guide us all. The village of Ajagba thrived under Opaleke's leadership, the tale of the rainmaker's folly and redemption becoming a cherished lesson. The moral was clear. Power should serve the community, not the self, and redemption is always possible for those willing to change. And so, the rainmaker's legacy transformed from one of fear to one of hope, carried forward by Opaleke and the love he shared with Adeola. Thank you for watching this video till the end. For more beautiful stories like this, kindly like, comment, and subscribe. Then don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get notified when we upload new videos. Thank you.